Alright, good day everyone. Okay, before I continue, I would like to inform you that I'm using my iPad. So literally, sometimes I may look at the camera and sometimes I may look at my iPad. So before I start, I would like you to imagine that we eat fruit every day, we eat vegetable every day. Have you ever wondered that if small amounts of pesticide enter our body, remain on our food and enter our body, what will happen? Well, that is exactly I will be discussing today on how pesticides move inside the human body and how they affect our health. Okay, so this is my test overview. So this is my introduction. So let's focus on the definitions. So these are the definitions. Okay, pesticides is any substance used to kill, to kill, repel, or control forms of plant, animal life that are considered to be pests. So these are the benefits. Okay, the number one is improve food quality and reduce losses. Number two is support the food security, crop for the crop protection, and then number four is increase crop yield. Without pesticide, it will be very difficult to maintain a stable food supply. However, the problem arises when the pesticides are misused or overused or improperly managed. In those situations, humans are being exposed through food, maybe water, or even air. So in food toxicology, we are not really interested in whether pesticides are toxic or not, but we want to know how they behave inside of our body. So let's look at the point number two, which is the pesticide can be classified based on their target organism and also their chemical structure. So we will look at the next page. Okay, well, so pesticide can be classified in different ways. Okay, number one is by their target organism and also their chemical structure. Well, uncommon way in based on what they target. For example, like herbicides, they target weeds to kill weeds. Okay, insecticides, it is to kill insect, and bactericide, it is to kill bacteria. Well, but in toxicology, we often classify pesticides based on their chemical structure, such as the example here, which is organophosphate or carbamates. So we are usually using this. Okay, so this is because the chemical structure determines how pesticides are metabolized and how they cause toxicity in our body. So so in this presentation, I am going to use the organophosphate as my example. Okay, so here we are going to enter part 2. So these are the things I'm going to discuss in part 2, and I'm so excited to share a lot of things with you guys. The health effect of pesticides can occur in two main ways, acute and also chronic toxicity. So acute toxicity is like usually happen after short-term or high-dose exposure, and the symptom can appear so quickly. Okay, so you have to know this. And also the common routes includes the inhalation, ingestion, and also dermal absorption. Well, the next one is the chronic toxicity. For the chronic toxicity, it develops slowly. I've mentioned here, there is slowly long-term exposure and also even at low dose. This is often more dangerous, because people may not realize the damage until much later. So the long-term exposure is associated with the Parkinson disease, with the endocrine disruptions. That means the disease, they are more something like that. So this is the organophosphate chemical structure. Well, you can see it here. Well, the next one is the route of pesticide exposure. So we have 4 exposure, routes of exposure. The most common is through the food consumption, but exposure can also occur by inhalation, ingestion, dermal absorption, and also other routes. The first one is occur during pesticide spray and also occupational exposure. Let's say when we are spraying something and then the things that you spray contain pesticides, so you inhale it into your body. Number 2 is ingestion. Of course, you get it from consumptions of contaminated food, water, fruit, vegetable, and also grains. Let's say when you eat and also the food contains pesticide, and it will be absorbed through the gastrointestinal tract. Number 3 is the dermal absorption. It occurs through the skin contact, during handling or application. It normally the pesticide in the liquid form, it absorbs so fast. So the lipophilic pesticide easily penetrate the stratum corneum because it is easily to be absorbed. Okay, and then the other way, it is transplantal transfer from mother to fetus. Okay, this is in term of pregnancy, and also the breast milk exposure in infant. Okay, in term of pregnancy also, accidental or occupational exposure. Okay, the next one is the symptom. Okay, you have to know that the symptom of pesticide exposure depends on several factors, such as maybe dose or maybe duration and also the type of pesticides. Okay, short-term exposure may cause headache, like here, headache, dizziness, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, excessive salivation, sweating, muscle twitching, okay, muscle weakening, and so on. For the chronic exposure, okay, for the chronic exposure, memory loss, so this is called very chronic, okay, anxiety, depression, cognitive impairment, okay, new neurobehavioral changes, okay, peripheral neuropathy, chronic fatigue, and also sleep disturbance, and also a lot of symptoms. Okay, for the other effect, it may be endocrine disruptions, like it actually affect our system. Okay, hormone imbalance, okay, reproductive, okay, toxicity. We also have the nephrotoxicity, kidney damage, and also bioaccumulation and biomagnification for the persistent pesticide. Okay, these all are the chronic exposure. Okay, next we have metabolism of pesticides. Okay, this is to understand why this effect happen. We need to look at the toxicokinetics. So the toxicokinetics is will describe what the body does to the chemical through the four main steps, which is absorption, distribution, metabolism, and also excretion. Usually we call it as ADME. Okay, so let's directly look at the absorption. Just now I have been mentioned the absorption, maybe inhalation or ingestion, also dermal contact. Okay, next. Okay, and then the next one is the distribution. Okay, there are a lot of steps here and I will explain to you. So let's look at the distributions. Okay, after entering the bloodstream, okay, after the pesticide entering bloodstream, the pesticides are distributed through the body. Because many pesticides are fat soluble, okay, they tend to accumulate in the first one is the body fat, liver, and also nervous system. Okay, so these are the most affected organ, or we call it as target organ, that I have been circled here, number 1, number 2, and number 3. Next, the metabolism. Okay, liver entry, after it enter the liver. So after pesticide are absorbed and distributed through the bloodstream, most of them eventually will enter the liver. Okay, as you can hear, okay, it will enter here. Okay, these are the liver. Well, which is the main organ? Okay, liver is the main organ to responsible for the detoxifying foreign chemicals and also known as symbiotics. Well, for pesticides, they are taken orally, such as like contaminated food. They are transported. Okay, they will transport it directly to the liver via the portal vein. Okay, via the portal vein, and then this process is known as the first pass effect, where a significant portion of pesticide is metabolized before it even reaches the rest of the body. Okay, then inside the liver, the pesticide metabolite occur in two main stages. Okay, in two main stages, they have been mentioned here: phase 1 and also phase 2. So for this one, I will explain in next slide. Okay, phase 1, they have been circled here. It is mainly carried out by a group of enzyme called cytochrome P450 enzyme. Okay, it is here. Okay, well, which are located in liver cell. Okay, this is located in liver cell. Okay, during phase 1, pesticides undergo chemical reactions such as oxidation, hydrolysis, and reduction. Okay, so the purpose of this reaction is actually to introduce or expose a functional group. Okay, they have been mentioned here. Okay, functional group on the pesticide molecule. However, it is important to understand that actually phase 1 metabolism does not always make pesticide less toxic. In some cases, phase 1 reaction can convert a pesticide into more toxic metabolites, and this process known as a bioactivation. Okay, known as a bioactivation. I can give you an example. Let's say organophosphate pesticide, where the patent compound is converted into the ozone metabolite, okay, which is more potent in inhibiting the acetylcholinesterase. Okay, next we have the phase 2. Okay, phase 2, it is conjugation lah. We call it as conjugation, where the pesticide metabolite is combined with the endogenous molecules such as glucuronic acid, sulfate, glutathione, and maybe amino acid. Well, the main function of this phase is to make compound more water soluble. Okay, hydrophilic here. All right, so increasing the water solubility is very important because it allows the pesticide to be easily excreted from the body, because the more less concentrated, the more it is easily to be excreted, like that. Phase 2 is actually considered a protective mechanism, as they reduce the persistence of pesticide in body and lower the risk of toxicity. So let's look at the excretions of pesticides. Okay, after the metabolism, pesticides and their metabolites need to remove from our body. So this mainly occurs, okay, where we will see now. Okay, let's look at this one, the picture that I've been attached. Okay, this is liver. So the renal excretions, okay, what will be excrete is urine. Okay, it will excrete through urine. And number 2, this one is liver, and it will be excreted in terms of feces. Okay, feces. And number 3 is lung. Okay, we will exhale the air. And this is especially for the volatile pesticides, because if the pesticide is solid, it will not be excreted to exhale because it's solid. Okay, so these are the image that I get from the Sun's article. So, and it is proven that it is actually removed by urine, also the feces. Factor affecting metabolism. Okay, the first one is the chemical structure and also the lipid solubility of pesticide. If the chemical structure is more simple, then it is easily to be metabolized. Okay, number 2 is the age. Okay, the age of the person itself. Okay, let's say infant and also children may have an immature metabolic enzyme, so the time, and also it may take a lot of time to be metabolized, okay, the pesticide. And then number 3, we have the health status, and also especially liver and also kidney function. Okay, if the kidney function was not very good, or the one infected contains he or she have diabetic or something chronic disease, so it may take a longer time for the body to excrete that metabolite, to metabolite the pesticide. Okay, number 4 is genetic polymerism affecting the metabolic enzyme. Okay, that is number 4. So now we will look at the mechanism of action of pesticide. Okay, let's look at this. You have to know that different pesticides cause toxicity through different mechanisms. So for this one, we're focusing on organophosphate. Well, the first one is the acetylcholinesterase inhibition. So organophosphate, okay, pesticide inhibit the enzyme acetylcholinesterase, or in short form we call it ACEHA. So this will cause accumulation of acetylcholine at synapses. This will cause the accumulation, and then this will lead to continuous nerve stimulation. It will continually stimulate and resulting in muscle twitching, paralysis, respiratory failure in several cases. Okay, we are actually focusing on here ACH inhibition, and also the next one is oxidative stress. Besides neurotoxicity, pesticides can also induce oxidative stress. Okay, this occurs when pesticides increase the production of reaction oxygen species during the metabolism, which will overwhelm the body and body's antioxidant and defense system. Okay, as a result, okay, important cellular components such as lipid and also protein can be damaged. Okay, Okay, next one, we have the disruptions of the cellular processes. They can interfere, okay, with mitochondrial function, by reducing energy production, and also disturb the calcium balance, which affect the cell signaling and also survival. So over the time, this lead to the cellular dysfunction and also tissue damage here. Alright, for number 4, this is the genotoxicity. Okay, some pesticides have genotoxic effect. So this meaning they can damage your DNA. So DNA damage may lead to mutation and also increase the risk of long-term health effect, maybe such as a cancer, okay, especially after chronic exposure. Well, why pesticide toxicity can increase over the time? Well, for this one, you have to know that some pesticides are persistent and can accumulate in your body over time. Okay, this is number one. And for number two, food chain transfer. So, they may also become more concentrated as they move up in the food chain. Okay. And number three, okay, exposure to multiple chemical at the same time can further increase the toxicity. Okay, because of the interaction with other chemical. Okay, these are the risk assessment. So to protect the human health, pesticide risk must be evaluated. So this involves the hazard identification, dose response assessment, and then exposure assessment and risk characterizations. So the first step is the hazard identification, which means identifying whether a pesticide can cause harmful health effects such as neurotoxicity and also the organ damage. Okay, the next one is dose response and assessment, so which examines how severity of toxic effect changes with different levels of exposure. So this step helps you to determine safe reference values such as acceptable daily intake or something like that. For the number three is the exposure assessment, which estimate how much pesticide humans are exposed to mainly through food consumption or occupational activities. Okay, the final one is the risk characterization. It combines all the information to evaluate the overall likelihood of adverse health effect and also guide the regulatory decisions. Okay, so this is so important. The last part is of course the strategies and also the prevention step to mitigate the pesticide toxicity. So these are the strategies that have been listed. Okay, the first one is occupational prevention strategies. It focuses on preventing farmers and also agricultural workers who are at higher risk of the exposure. So they maybe can use of proper handling, okay, proper handling practices and also personal protective equipment, okay, personal protective equipment such as maybe gloves, okay, that have been attached here, and also masks can be greatly reduce the inhalation and also skin contact with pesticide. Well, the second one is the environmental prevention. So it is to aim to minimize pesticide contaminations in surrounding environment. This include the controlling pesticide application and also preventing runoff into water sources and also promoting safer pest management practices. Okay, the third one is of course the food and consumer related prevention. So it helps to protect the general population too. Well, by monitoring pesticide residue in food along with proper washing and also handling of food product can significantly reduce the dietary exposure. Well, and the last one is of course the regulatory preventions involved in government and also enforcement. What can be done is authorities establish safety standard, regulate pesticide usage, and also set acceptable exposure limit to protect the public health. Well, what I can conclude from this topic is pesticides are useful chemicals that can help to protect our food supply, but it also can become harmful when exposure is not properly controlled. By understanding how pesticides move through our body from absorption, okay, ADME, absorption, distribution, metabolism in the liver, and also finally excretion, where we can better understand why certain health effects occur. So these are the references that I've been used. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope this helped you so much. Thank you.